What just happened? Are we going towards something that we don't want? Anyways, hello everyone and welcome to Let's Talk Raptors. I'm your host Sham, my channel where you get reviews, analysis, predictions, and hot takes on all things Raptors as well as some NBA. So the Raptors played, still playing. I think it's like 2 minutes left, but I figured it's over because we're down by 33 points. The New Orleans Pelicans today in New Orleans. So without further ado, let's talk what the hell went wrong in this game. So I think it was one of those nights that you end up having in a season where nothing's gonna fall, everything is gonna fall for the opposition. Nobody's gonna have the energy to be able to lift the team out of the gutter, and the other team is just gonna pounce on you. And that is exactly what happened in this game. The Raptors come out, they have at least 5 extra shots in their possession, and they are down 2-12 in the first quarter. Then they're down 17 and about 4. And eventually now the Raptors are down by 33. And in this game, Gary Trent Jr. was 1 of 11 going into the fourth quarter. Pascal Siakam was, I think, 4 of 15 or 6 of 20 something. Fred VanVleet was 4 of 17. And OG was 1 of 9. So that tells you nobody was scoring the basketball. And the Raptors just did not have it today. They were missing bunnies. OG had this drive straight to the bucket where it just rolls off the side of the rim. Gary Trent is shooting and it's just clanking from every side. Can you expect Gary Trent to go 0 of 11 for 3 freaking quarters? No. And Freddie's the only guy who had it a little bit going, but again, it wasn't that great either. Same thing with Pascal. He's there's things we've seen him do. Back to the bucket, getting to the rim, mid-rangers, 3-point shots. He's been doing everything, and today he just didn't have it. And none of the Raptors had it. And the Raptors just are, let me see what the score is now. We're down about 29 points with like 30 seconds left. So the Raptors lose this game. My prediction. But there are some key takeaways we can take even from a garbage freaking game. The first one is that the Raptors starters were bound to have this bad night. We have been too hot, and the rhythm the NBA gods need to level it out. I'm glad this is out of our system with the break coming up, because it will give us just that oomph or that drive to come out of that break at the All-Star break and hit the ground running, because you haven't done well in the past 2-3 games going into the break. You want to come out with more energy. So it was something that was likely to happen, and I'm glad it happened now, especially against a Western Conference team. So it doesn't really affect you against an Eastern Conference team, especially the ones that you're fighting with in a spot. So that's my first key takeaway. The second key takeaway I have for you guys is that the Raptors starters need to play a good game every time, because our bench is pretty garbage. Doesn't seem like, now I'm not counting Thaddeus Young in it, even though I think his 3-point shot isn't that good looking, but he has a ability to get to the bucket. But all of our guys do, because they're tall as shit. We need shooting. And the Raptors bench is just not there, because if, for example, the starters just don't have it, for example, whereas Gary Trent Jr. didn't have it, Nick Nurse didn't have anyone to go to the bench that he can just plug in there and he would have confidence that, hey, this guy's going to still give me that minute, give me offense, whereas Gary is not doing that right now. So give Gary that break and this guy is going to be able to cover me. He doesn't have that option. Either it's because he doesn't believe in these guys, because they don't prove it themselves in the practice, but it just seems like we don't have those guys. And I honestly feel like Nick Nurse needs to give possibly Svi Mykhailiuk another chance, man. This kid has handling, he has the quickness, the athleticism, and maybe now after sitting there for a very, very long time, he might be able to do something. He might have that drive to prove himself again. And that opportunity needs to be given. Otherwise, our bench is garbage. Like, I like Delano Banton, but he's not there yet. He's very, very raw. His shot is really bad. Uh, Justin Champagne, after that, running with RJ Hampton, he hasn't really played much. Whereas he was taking those strides, and then he was benched after that. Chris Boucher is the only guy that I can feel confident with that he's going to give you consistency off the bench. Precious Achiuwa is, again, raw. He's like a bull in a china shop. He just goes straight for the bucket. He doesn't try to pass. He doesn't try to do anything. And you need three-point shooting. You need to be able to spread the floor with your bench unit. And we don't have that, especially with the unit that Nick Nurse decides to put out there every time as a bench unit, which is Delano Banton, Pascal Siakam, Scotty Barnes, Precious Achiuwa, and Chris Boucher. There's no reliable three-point shooter in those five guys. There needs to be a reliable three-point shooter there to spread the floor, possibly bring on double teams. Like freaking Avocado from the new Alvarado is his name, but I call him Avocado. Came on off the bench like a Energizer Bunny and whooped our ass. And we had, he was quick, he was doing everything, whereas we don't have those guys. I like Malachi Flynn. I think he's a good player, but his three-point shot hasn't improved, man. Neither has his mid-rangers. He doesn't seem as quick anymore. I guess maybe he's just lethargic sitting on the bench, but our bench is crap. And it seems like our starters need to have a good game every game in order for us to be able to win or even be close in a game. The third key takeaway I have for you guys is don't worry. Because this was one of those games. I don't think the Raptors are going to continue to lose games. I think it's that break time where you're going to, if there are 5 games prior to the break, you're going to win at least 2 out of those 5 or 3 out of those 5. You're not going to win all of them because the guys have already checked out. They're sitting in the Maldives mentally, and you're going to try to pull it out. One thing, although I did notice, is that the Raptors still continue to push hard even when they're losing. Even when they don't have it going, even when they're missing the shots that even a 2-year-old can make at the rim. And they still push themselves. And that's something that I do like about this team. And that's why it gives me confidence on my third key takeaway is that they're not going to give up. And they're not going to, just go into a free fall kind of like the Brooklyn Nets have. So Raptor fans, do not worry. We'll be fine. The fourth and the last key takeaway I have is that Masai absolutely, and this goes into my second key takeaway, absolutely needs to go in to the buyout market, find us a guard or a big center. I don't mean somebody like Kemberg, like Mo Bamba, like one of these, Nick Claxton, all of these agile centers. No, we need a big booty, like DeMarcus Cousins, like Valanciunas, like Joel Embiid, because Valanciunas whooped our ass today. He was just standing there and grabbing rebounds like this. We have 6'9" guys, I get it, but you can't expect them to take on a big body, a 7-footer, especially a guy who can play in the post, because they just put their ass into the guy's chest and go after them, get to underneath the rim, and you increase your chances by like 90% underneath the rim that you're gonna make that shot. So Masai needs to make that move to give us that ability, especially like I said, for our bench to be stronger, man. And we need it really badly. So chalk this one up to being a shitty night, especially it's a Monday night. We all have shitty Mondays. So the Raptors will be fine. Tuesday, I think it's Wednesday, we play the Minnesota Timberwolves. So pretty hot, so it should be a pretty good game. If it's not, who cares? We're going to the break, especially with a pretty good record. So that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the content, the analysis. Please hit that like and subscribe button, help my channel grow, and I will see you guys after the Minnesota game.